Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. If you are new to my channel, make sure you are subscribing. Get on the journey with me. Smash that like button. We're starting the early Everton preparation with an episode about Aston Villa's season starting now and what I would like to see going into the start of the season now, because let's forget about the first three. That's done. We've got to move on and build from now. So I want you guys to let me know what you want to see, what needs to change, what needs to happen going into Everton and beyond. So comment your thoughts. Goes off like a fan forum every single time. So I've jotted a few things down and a few things that I would like to see come back or like to see happen and change, etc. Basically, because the first three and similar patterns of what we saw last season as well. So there's been certain areas and a continuation and a running theme of maybe some tactical elements so far this season that we need to make sure we improve on. But the first one is probably the big one for me, and it is no excuse culture. We had a no excuse culture under Unai Emery. You can whack that in on Google and you'll find articles about Unai Emery having a no excuse culture at Aston Villa. That's got to come back. I feel like we've within this window, we've strayed away from that a little bit, and we've brought noise to the table. And sometimes that's okay, because if sometimes, we're Aston Villa, we're for as much as we love Villa and we think Villa are a big club, compared to some, we're not. Compared to Manchester United, we're not bigger than Man United. And sometimes you do have to speak a bit louder to get your thoughts or your voice heard. But what I've seen over the summer is a lot of noise coming out of Villa. Some Vidagani tweets, the players coming out on Instagram and captions and talking and putting things out there. And you look at it and you go, oh, you can tell there's something not quite right, and that's fine. That's fine, but it ends up giving you an excuse. It ends up psychologically giving you a bit of for as much as you could come out and go, nah, that don't affect us on the field. No, it don't. That little one, football, all these little added percentages of finding ways to improve, adding up. You give yourself that little bit of doubt, that little bit of an excuse that can start creeping in. For example, I've got a quote from Conte. Now, he probably was asked a question about it, right? He was asked a question and this is how he responded. But I'll tell you how he probably should have responded. So he said, "It's crazy financial rules. I don't understand it myself, but from the outside looking in, it doesn't look too good. I know that. I know it's really killed us, this transfer window. We're going to have to deal with what we've got now. Like I say, with a great squad. I believe in our squad. I believe in our manager. Hopefully the boys who have come in can really help us and push us on." So that start to that saying, I know it's really killed us in this transfer window. We didn't really need to go there, did we? What we could have said was something along the lines of, yes, I imagine it's been very difficult this window for the coaching staff or Monchi or the recruitment team, but at the end of the deadline, we've been able to bring in 3 quality players that are really going to help the squad, and we're able to push on and kick on from now. I don't think we needed to bring into that conversation there anything about that it's really killed us in the track, because it hasn't. Because you judge the transfer window at the end, yes, it probably has killed us a bit. But we've been able to bring in 3 players. We didn't really... So that, to me, is excuse bubbling. We just don't need to go there. Just focus on the positives and go forward. So I don't really want to see any of this chat anymore about PSR, finances, signings. This is what we've got now. So make the most of what we've got and just deal with it and get on with it now. We have got a very good squad. We've been able to bring in 3 players that are massively going to improve the squad, that are massively going to be able to help us. So that's just my thoughts on it, really. I'm fed up of hearing about this and that and all this, and we've been dealt this bad hand. Villa have an opportunity when the Premier League and the shareholders meet together to talk about these things and iron all these things out. So that is where I think that next discussion needs to be had. Now, yes, we are all fully aware of what's happened in this window, but the window's shut now. We've got to just deal with it and make the best out of a bad situation, because we can't just keep going on about it, because nothing is going to change. We've got to strive now to be a lot better. So for me, no excuse culture. If we lose and we play bad, we've lost and we've played bad, move on, get on with it and go to that next game. So that's the big one for me, is just no excuses anymore. And we were big on that a few seasons ago. So that's something that I would really like to see come back. Now, my next point, sorry I've gone off on one a bit, because it does annoy me, guys. Like, you know, I'm just a fan. Like, I'm a fan, and I'll have my opinion on everything that you have an opinion on. I get to voice it on here, I get to air it, and then I feel a bit better afterwards. And then you guys can type and chip in and give me your thoughts, and they're all valid. And yeah, there we go. Right, so number 2, clear identity of what we are. In possession, out of possession. I want to now start to see what we are this season. I think it's been a bit clouded so far. How I view it now is that I think Unai has had a way in which he wants this team to look with certain personnel in it. And I don't think he has had the personnel to probably set up and play the way he wants. So what I'm talking about is we've not had any out-and-out wide player. And I think he's wanted this number 10 to fit in this little pocket and Villa to look different. Does he want a different profile if Rodgers is on the left, someone on the right, who's off the striker? So I actually feel like Emery, I'm hoping, he's tried to work with what he got with the players until he got the wide player and the other attacker that he really wants to work with. And I just want to see like a togetherness, an ambition and sticking together. And I want to see us be more unpredictable. I want to see those patterns of building, and I want to see us being able to progressively play out from the back and get into those different areas of the pitch and how we want to build up. So how we want to get the ball to Rodgers, how we want to get the ball to Elliott, where we want Sancho to be. And it's got to all start to merge and come together and look a lot more fluid. I loved the huddle before the Palace. I loved it because it shows togetherness. And I'm quite big actually on the players on the pitch having that final message. Now, they've been in the dressing room with Emery. They've had Emery's debriefs. They've watched Emery's tactical setups for probably about 4 days. Emery will give a final message in the dressing room. Someone else might speak. And then when they get on the pitch, what's that final message of setting that tone? Because that, from listening to Emery, they've been in the tunnel, they've walked out, they've seen the atmosphere, thoughts have probably gone to different directions. Who's in there? The captain, giving that final message about intensity, starting the game, reiterating. And I'm really big on that. So I'd like to see that continue, to be honest. Now, some might say, well, it didn't work against Palace, did it? No, it didn't. But we're not going to win every game, are we? So it will work for a lot more than it won't work. But I think that is very, very important for me. So we've had this break. And yes, players have been on international duty and they've not been able to all be together. But he can work with the ones he's got, like Pau, Mings, Elliott, Sancho, Maatsen, Bizot, etc. He can work with those. So that's important for me as well. The next one is new player integration. And again, the lift that I think they will bring. We saw Rodgers with the two new lads, looked quite happy. I think their integration is important. I think Elliott is going to have the biggest impact on this squad, that I think quite possibly, and I think some of you will know by how I'm talking about Elliott, I think Elliott, guys, is going to probably be our biggest signing we've made in a few years. I honestly do believe this. He's very, very young, but I actually feel like his mentality of what he's been able to learn at Liverpool is huge. And yeah, Asensio's won things with Real Madrid, Champions Leagues. But I watched Elliott before that Rio young lad came on the pitch at St James's Park, and he had his arm round him and he was talking to him and he was like sort of giving him information. And I think that's important. And I think Elliott will come in as a bit of a leader for Villa. He'll come in and he will demand excellence. He will demand the best. But he also has the ability to take the initiative in games. And I think that's very important. I think he's able to lead from example. So if he's able to come in and do that for Villa, every other Villa player looks around going, bloody hell, he's only been here 5 minutes, and look at him. That's the impact that I think he's going to have at Villa as well. Number 4, I think I'd like to see us use youth a little bit more. I think we saw when he brought on one of the young lads at wing back, he brought on Burrows. I'd like to see Jimo Aloba more, getting the odd 10-minute cameos. Hemmings getting minutes as well. I think that's something that we've probably got to really look at. I think we really need the next Villa youngster to come through now. I think we're craving for it. So I think that is an opportunity that we've really got this season to find the next one of our own and actually play them. I've also got written down attack the Europa League. John McGinn has done a interview where he picks his little stickers on Sky Sports, and he mentioned that the Europa League is massive for Villa. 2 chances to get into the Champions League. He got to pick whether qualifying for the Champions League or win the Europa, and he picked Europa because it gets you Champions League. Digne is talking about the FA Cup, etc. So attacking this Europa League for me is very important, that we take it really seriously and we look like a well-oiled machine in Europe. And we've learned from all of our experiences in Europe, Champions League, Conference League, and attack it. And number 6 is to feel like an Unai Emery team. That is going to be vitally important, merging all of those 6 things that I've mentioned together to becoming back to the best version of Aston Villa of what we've seen. So the season does start here for me. I think it's not ideal that it does, but we've got no other choice. So I think the international break will have worked well for our players to have a break, move out of that Villa environment for a week, come back refreshed, ready to attack against Everton and just get going. I mean, everybody's written us off now already. They've written us off from Europe. They've written us off from this. So it's now time to come back with a bang and perform to a high level. And yes, I've been pretty critical of Villa so far this season, but I think rightly so at times. We've looked a shadow of an Unai Emery team at times, and we need to get back to it ASAP. So those are my thoughts on all of the things that I would like to see wouldn't say improve. I'd say get back. I'd say we've just got to get back to that. Get back to what we've been doing really well over the years. So, yeah, I think some tactical changes will be needed. Hopefully he's been able to reassess, etc. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little episode of me chatting about the things that I would like to see improve and our season starting right now. So cheers everyone for watching. Up the Villa.